Hi, Evan. My name is Helen T. Meyer. I'd like to share with you what I've done so far in my emergency class. This is a document that I will be sharing with you. It contains a link to the principal guidelines that we were given, um, and it contains emails that I'm just going to kind of keep a running list of. So I sent this email to my journalism parents. And then this was the email that I sent to my students. I also have the same email or similar email that I sent to, well, this is one I sent to my principal, giving him information about students that had not responded to a school survey about the internet. And below you can see I have an email that I sent to parents and that I sent to students. So that was my initial communication. So you'll be able to have those links. I also I want to share with you. Oh, this is the first assignment for the first week that I sent to my English 1 students. Now, granted, this was made available to them in Google Classroom. So here was their assignment, and I'll explain what it is in a little bit. And I can see that some students have been doing the work. Like I know I looked last night and Sydney had done some work. She didn't use the form I gave her. She opened a new document, which is absolutely fine. And this is the writing that she did for me. So I, last night, went through my students' work. And you can see that I left them some comments over here. And you can see that then this is a place for her reading goal. She hasn't filled that in yet, so we'll take a peek at a couple other students. Let's see, Shelby's. So she did use my form. And these are some comments that I left for her. I'm trying to include some challenges for her. This is her reading response. She's reading Safe Haven. Her goal is to read 200 pages. And she has, I did not see this yesterday, she has even written about her book. So that's exciting to see. So last night I went through about 14 of the 50 or so students who had left responses in that particular course. Okay, so this is what I gave those English 1 students. We're on the block at West Delaware, and so I teach 3 courses, 2 English 1s and a journalism. So that was kind of my classroom that I showed you, Google Classroom. I'll also link this document later to the one I'm going to share with you, but I gave them a check-in, and this would be the result of the check-in. So I was able to find out and see their responses to several questions. I asked them what they're grateful for, how they exercised that particular day, how will you help someone, and how are you feeling, and is there anything else that they want to share. So I had a nice group of kids respond to that, so that's been good. Here I explained to them that I want them to write half a page or more 2 times a week. I encouraged them to write daily, gave them some ideas about what to write about. Also gave them the option to be creative by using Canva or Pictochart or Infogram. This was a Canva that I did just to give them an idea. How do I zoom in? No, that's not what I wanted. don't remember how to zoom in. But here I started to change the words. Empty shelves, my hair turning gray, all those kinds of crazy things. And then they would give me the link. I also gave them a sample writing response that they could see. Here I talked about cutting my husband's hair, and I thought about adding to that each day. And then I gave them an assignment to read and to track their reading, which you already saw the chart. I included a sample reading response. I am listening to In Pieces by Sally Fields, and I wrote a little bit about my thoughts on that. Gave them direction to turn it in by Sunday evening, asked them to email me if they have any questions, told them I will post more learning opportunities. I included my essential learnings, and then I gave them directions and links and videos and tutorials on how to find digital books if they did not have a book in their house. Okay, so that is pretty much what I've done for English 1. If I go to journalism, this was my communication for my journalism students. And again, I put this also, so there's my other English class. I put this document in Google Classroom, and there was really, no, I did give students, that's right. I gave them this instruction sheet, which we're going to look at, and then I gave them this place to list their accomplishments. Gave them a little pep talk here about getting involved in helping with journalism. So again, here's my little pep talk. I gave them a link to the yearbook pages that have yet to be completed with my notes about what's all getting done. I told them our focus needed to be on the yearbook. They all have access. I explained to them that most of the teaching for journalism I've already done. Now it's a matter of putting it to work. I also included a video link of the different pages that we have left. This was a Google Classroom. So that kind of explains how I've modified our yearbook plans, given our limited opportunities to take more additional photos, and the challenges of interviewing. People are not responding to their school email very well, so that's been a real problem. I encouraged them, I gave them some suggestions on how to gather information that they might need for their pages. I told them I have survey results from a survey that I put out that we can use that information. I told them that we're going to do the best we can. I included a checklist for completing yearbook pages. All of these things have been taught. That was the assignment sheet. This is for if we get done with the yearbook or somebody prefers to write. This was our writing checklist for news and feature articles that they had already seen. And then I also included this link to a New York Times article, which was just really, I thought it was well done. It was inspiring. I thought they might enjoy seeing that. I reminded them it's voluntary and of my office hours. I reminded them of our essential learnings. So that is what I have done for my journalism class. I guess I wanted to show you Google Classroom. This is, let's see, this is our online yearbook. and it's at Yearbook Avenue, and I've already signed in over here, but I kind of wanted you to see what the students would be working on. And what we've actually done is we've actually already had phone calls and texts from students who have been helping. This morning, Chloe emailed. So we use InDesign Online to complete the yearbook. Chloe texted this morning and said, oh shoot, it's off a little bit. I may not be able to show you that. Oh, here it is. Sometimes because we're in the cloud, things don't work quite right. And I'm sure it's even worse on a Chromebook, which is what the students see. When I click here, I don't get that. So this is one of the obstacles that we face working from home. Oh, that's better. Okay, so Chloe this morning was working on show choir, and via phone calls and texting, we were able to communicate a little bit. She couldn't get her article to copy and paste in, so she shared it with me, and I did that. And so now I texted her back and said, okay, now you have decisions. Your copy's too long. How do you want to do this? What picture do you want to reduce? I suspect we'll reduce this, but we'll continue to communicate through email and get that figured out. But we are working on finishing these pages in deadlines 4 and 6. I had a student this week. She took the color out of the background of this picture. So I do have some students who are working. Okay, so that's what I've done so far. My next steps. Well, one of the things that I did this morning that I don't know if kids will enjoy it or not, I hope so, is I shared with them this current events quiz, which I thought was kind of engaging, and the answers are included. That would the answers are down at the bottom of the page, so I hope they enjoy that. I need to continue giving feedback to my students. What I plan to do next week is in English 1. I've already started it. I plan to give students some articles to read, to respond, because the writing for this week was more kind of what's going on in your life. And next week I want them to be reading some articles and writing responses. And I've also got, maybe we'll do a flip grid. And I think I had a sample as well. Here's a sample that I wanted to include for next week. So that was for English 1. For journalism, I did have an email conversation with a student last night who's interested in writing an article. I have several kids that would like to do that. So those are my next steps. My questions would be, am I doing enough? I mean, this is to me genuine, honest work that we need to do. And I've had about 14 or 15 kids jump on to my English 1 out of 50. I've had my 4 seniors respond so that they can be done at the end of the 3rd quarter. So I don't know that they're going to continue. And then I have about another 7 journalism kids. One is a foreign exchange kid. He's off back to Indonesia. I don't expect him to continue. And that leaves about 6 others who will hopefully help me finish the yearbook. Thank you. It looks like I'm out of time.